Find out from Kathleen and Todd Atkins how to start a business and discover what life is like in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, in this video interview with expats in Mexico. Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
How are you two?
Pretty good. Except for...
when did Mexico appear on your radar screen?
Well, it's kind of funny. I actually spent 3 months in Mexico in 1980 when I was in high school still, and I lived with a family in Mexico City, and kind of got the bug for myself at that point. Kathleen and I, over the last 5, 6, 7 years, have been traveling all over the world trying to figure out where we wanted to retire to. And we've been to Thailand, the Caribbean, even considered parts of the United States, but nothing ever really felt quite right. And
somewhere warmer than Chicago.
Yeah, winter's warmer than Chicago.
Yeah, for sure.
So we were planning on retiring the end of this year, and if you want the shortened version, we were here on vacation last May and met some people, and they said, hey, there's a chocolate business for sale right next door. And we were jokingly, and we said, oh, okay. So we went next door and looked at it. And
I love chocolate, so I went there a couple times to buy chocolate because it's the best chocolate.
And found out that they have an ice cream shop and a chocolate store that they were selling, and we ended up buying it. And so we made our move a little sooner than we wanted to. We thought we were hoping for semi-retirement, which first year is definitely not semi-retirement. We're working a lot, but it's definitely a lot of fun. We're learning a lot about the business, and the business culture of Mexico is different than the U.S. There's different requirements, and Kathleen handles most of the bookkeeping and accounting and the PR and HR stuff. So her hands are full quite a bit with that, and I get the fun part. I get to make the chocolate and the ice cream. So.
And I work with Todd on the colors because I'm a big color person. I design, so I had a business making and designing couture dog collars as well. So I like to get into the color.
So why Puerto Vallarta?
Oh, well, you know, like Todd has said, we've looked in several places around the world, and there was always something that was a little, well, you know, we could live in Thailand, for instance. We loved it there. But it's too long. From door to door, it took us about 29 hours just to get there. So we thought, oh, that's too far, you know, for people to visit. And we wanted to be somewhere where we could still see family and friends. And so.
But not too close.
Not too close. So when we came here last year, we were here, I would say, about 4 days when we knew, you know, we fell in love with it. We were in our condo, and I was doing yoga on the top of a rooftop with a pool, and the sun was coming up over the mountain, and the ocean is over there, and you could hear roosters, and the city started coming alive, and it just felt like, wow, this could be home. I mean, I just love the good positive vibe here, and the weather and the ocean, and so it's a combination of the people, and there are you've got a lot of tradition and culture here because there's a lot of Mexicans that live here, and there are also expats that live here and tourists. So, I mean, we've already met so many great people already from around the world. So that's part of, I don't know, it just felt right, really.
Yeah, I mean, it is a great tourist town, and we love it for that, but it's still locals that live here as well. So it has a real lived-in feel, not just a tourist town. Like, we've been to Cancun, and it just felt it was just made for tourism, whereas this town was developed into tourism over time. It was a town first.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we wanted. I mean, some people may want something like Cancun instead because it does, the water there is probably a little prettier or bluer.
You know, the beaches are probably a little wider and prettier too, but it's just, we just love the town and the people here.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody just really embraced us and welcomed us. And we're so excited we were moving here, and after being here, we understand that too. We were always meeting people and said, "Oh, you should move here. You love it." And so
yeah, I mean, a lot of people just fall in love with it right away here. It's just, and they do have beautiful beaches here too. I'm not saying they don't, but it's you know, it's just different.
Yeah, to me, Cancun feels like USA South, and we were looking for something with a little more culture of the country that we were moving to. So it's a nice mix that way.
And so, not long after you arrived in Puerto Vallarta, you were strolling down the street, and Kathleen's chocolate sensor was activated, and you wandered into your store and decided, wow, this is the place we want to buy.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we didn't, I think we just thought of it jokingly when we first saw it. And we were talking with we actually met two sets of friends and, another friend that's lived here for 32 years. So it's like three sets of friends that we feel like we've known forever. And because of that and because of the chocolate, we were joking about it at first. And then when we went back, we did contact the owners. We spoke to them the day after we got back. And we knew it was the right thing. We just looked at each other. We were so excited, so excited beyond belief that we knew it was the right thing.
Well, Kathleen always claims that she's a gypsy soul, and it was just time for her to move on in her career. And I felt like it was time for me to move on in my career. I've done several careers as well. And the timing was just right, and it felt right. And it was like a little scary, of course, but,
especially moving to a different country. I mean, I've lived in several places in the States, but to actually, I don't know, I think we both felt like we wanted to live out of the country at some point. And it's just, there's a lot more involved, of course, when you're moving to a different country, as you know. So that was definitely scary.
And exciting.
And exciting.
So it was last year you decided to buy the business.
Yes.
And what was the process like? I mean, what do you have to do to buy a business in Mexico?
Well, we got an attorney involved, of course, and an accountant on this end in Mexico, and made sure that the tax returns were, legit and true, and that the books were all in line. And me being the businessman, I wanted to make sure that the financials were what they said it was. It wasn't, because I don't know you never know the recording or what they say is true as far as sales and profits and that. So that was a big concern of mine, and we had to do our due diligence on that and make sure that it was what it says it was, and it was. And so we kept moving forward, and it's just a little longer process here in Mexico as well. Just getting permits and your applications and your licenses, and things take a little longer. So I think the biggest thing, the hardest thing for me being in business all my life is just learning patience. I'm still not a very patient person, but I'm getting better.
Mexico
will make you patient, believe
me.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm not patient either. So
our neighbor always had an expression. He said, when something's not going right, just blame it on Tim. And I said, Tim, what is that? And he goes, oh, this is Mexico. I'm like, oh, perfect. So Tim has been our scapegoat on many occasions.
But I think that's the thing. We need to embrace the fact that this is a different culture. And that's why we wanted to move here, because of that. And so, just learning patience, I think, is a great thing for both of us.
The other funny, like last night we went to, we've been going to some of the hotels and such an area to have them start carrying our chocolates in their gift shops. And we both looked at each other last night after coming home, and it was like, wow, there is just so much opportunity here that you just don't get in the States. And if you're willing to put in a little time and a little effort, you can live very comfortably down here and very nicely and have a great lifestyle. And we're trying to create jobs for the locals. We don't want to work as much as we are now, but we'll always be involved with it. We have to oversee it. But the people here are really wanting to work, and they're eager to work, and they're great workers. So it's been a real fun transition.
Did your accountant handle all your paperwork for you?
The accountant and the attorney, we've had two separate attorneys, one for immigration, one for the business, and we've had two separate accountants, actually, one that did the books for the sale of the business, and then one that does our monthly accounting and filing with the government for tax purposes.
How much did it cost actually to purchase your business? Not the sale price, but all the permits and so forth that you had to get, and how long did it take you?
Well, I would say somewhere around between the accountants and attorneys and licenses and work permits and such, probably around $3,000 to $4,000 at the high end. And that's the thing is, be patient because it does take time. Unfortunately, we came down during the holidays at Christmas time, so the government basically shuts down for 2 weeks. So that put us behind the 8 ball, and so it took to totally get everything done 4 to 5 months to get everything.
So we definitely would recommend, if anyone else does this, definitely be here. Plan on being here a while. I mean, we jumped into it. So we moved here in the middle of December, and then we took over the businesses at the end of January. So we didn't really have a lot of time, like a little over a month to get situated in Mexico and then start working on these businesses and figure everything out. But we would definitely recommend someone at least 6 months. So be here, get used to everything for a while if you can before you jump into a business. And then that will take at least 6 months just to get all your paperwork and
familiar with the neighborhoods and where to shop. And for us, because like Kathleen does the shopping for the business as well, and she has to go to 6, 8, 10 different stores to pick up the supplies for the businesses. So, and sometimes you get there and they don't have it, and sometimes they do. And so it's part of, again, embracing the culture of Mexico, and not everything is available. You can't just walk into one store, one mega store like in the U.S. and buy all your stuff. You have to actually shop. So we're looking at hiring somebody to do shopping for us.
And that's one thing that's good and bad. I mean, I think it's something I've heard that you'll embrace the longer you're here, because you can't go to one big store and get, okay, so I need, 1,000 boxes for my chocolate. You can't do that here. But what you can do is go to someone and say, hey, can you make this box? And they custom make it for you. And that's more how things are done here. So it's just going to take a while for us to get used to that.
I mean, just for example, we're having custom made chocolate boxes out of pewter with Mexican tile on top. They're really pretty, and they make a real nice gift when people go home. But we're finding local craftsmen that actually make them and put them together for us. And it's been a real interesting process and fun to pick out different tiles for Kathleen. And she's, again, into all the colors and design. And that's been really fun and challenging, but it's just part of running business here. It's not super easy, but you have to embrace that fun part of it.
What are the names of your businesses and where are they located?
Well, the ice cream store is Lix, Lix, and that's on Basilio Badillo. And that's a very popular road where a lot of tourists are. And the chocolate is Choco Diva, and that used to be right next door. But the lease was let go last summer, so we don't have a store. So we're in our production kitchen right now, which is on Aquiles Cerdan. And it's a little further away from where all the main action happens, but what we've done is we've started opening that 1 day a week for chocolate sales because people are looking for the chocolate. And then I'm not sure, if we don't find a store, we might just continue, finding more commercial accounts, maybe open our production kitchen 1 day a week or so, and look for even little gourmet shops and boutiques in Puerto Vallarta to sell our chocolate.
Sell your branded products through them.
Right.
The previous owners did an amazing job. They developed a product and a name that, with the tourists, people search it out. We were in a small farmers market for a while this winter, or in the high season, and people were walking even 4 and 5 kilometers just to get to where we were to buy chocolate. They loved it so much. So I think it's a real plus for us, because we were thinking that maybe, like Kathleen was saying, just do more wholesale and let other people handle the retail side of it. Have some small boutique shops or more hotels that just sell the chocolate for us, and we can concentrate on just production and growing that side of the business. So
yeah, it is very well known. Like Todd said, I mean, even before we moved down here, we met a couple through the Puerto Vallarta Facebook site. They come here all the time, and we were talking, and they were in Highland Park, and we were in Wilmette, so it was towns that were right next to each other. So we met them, and we told them we're, in the process of hopefully buying Lix and Choco Diva, and she's like, Lix, oh my God, because Lix is her favorite place. And
And her husband.
yeah, and her husband. They love the bananas and the ice cream, and so it's just very well known. And we'd be at Licks over the summer when we're in the winter here, when it was very busy, and we'd be sitting at Licks, and people would walk by, and they'd be like, "Oh no, where's the chocolate store?" So a lot of people look for that.
Do you make your own ice cream?
I make all the ingredients that go into the ice cream, and then we have a co-packer that actually packages and makes the ice cream itself. So our ice cream is very different. It's very specialized. We actually use some of our Belgian chocolate in the ice cream. So I'm a big ice cream fan. Kathleen's not, but she even likes the ice cream.
I love this ice cream.
Yeah, it's very special, and just because of the ingredients we put in are all made by hand. And
You're making me very hungry. My two favorite things in the world are ice cream and chocolate.
yeah, how do you turn that down? I mean, some of the last legal addictions in the world.
Yeah. And we also have bananas, which are super popular. So we fill them with Nutella, cherry, peanut butter, salted caramel, or there's a natural banana with nothing in it. And then dip them in our Belgian chocolate, either dark or light, and then they roll them in pecans. So those are also very popular.
What's the best thing about living in Puerto Vallarta in Mexico?
The whole experience. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just such a package between the people, the weather, the cost of living. I mean, Puerto Vallarta, real estate is expensive compared to many parts of Mexico or other countries. But, when you put it all together, we've gone to plays, we've gone to musical at the Cathedral Church. It was a free musical we did this last winter with some guys from Canada.
And the people and just being outside all the time and not having to bundle up, and be freezing. I mean, I'm walking around in my house in my swimsuit half the time, so we'll come home and jump in the pool. So it's
a total lifestyle.
Yeah, it's definitely more of an outdoor experience, surrounded by all these great people that you meet here that are from here and around the world.
That's why I would like to have maybe even a smaller house, because we really don't spend that much time. And to be quite honest, we don't even cook hardly at all anymore. Because it is so reasonable to eat here. So it's like we can go out for dinner for $8, $10, and it's like, why bother cooking? We just go out and try something new and really have fun with that. So you don't really need a big place here because everybody's out most of the time. Today's kind of unusual. It's actually overcast and drizzly. It's the first time, rainy season officially started yesterday. So we haven't experienced the full rainy season yet, but it's not bad. I mean, we were out walking the dogs and just outside.
Sounds like you're living a great expats in Mexico lifestyle.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only been 6 months.
Yeah.
But we're very happy here for sure.
We're definitely in the honeymoon phase.
Kathleen and Todd, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Bob.